Well, it's no secret that 2023 had some of the best games to come out in the last decade. Not everything could be a masterpiece. In part 1, we covered what we thought were the best games of the year, and now it's on to the bad. Most skippable story of the year. Starting with Beezy.
I'm gonna have to actually think a little because I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't go out of my way to play bad games, and there wasn't a lot of stuff that I would say was real. Well, no, actually, that's a lie. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
Destiny 2 Lightfall. Boy, for a game that's going into its final year, they really dropped the ball with a lot of things, and it's crazy to see. Lightfall was a big curveball that didn't really give us anything. The opening cinematic is really cool, and the ending cinematic is basically the other half of that, and it's just that 2-minute cinematic is supposed to be the whole story, and it didn't work. It was just dumb. Ruined a game.
Yeah, I've seen the cutscenes for that on YouTube, and yeah, the beginning and ending cutscene, it looks like they just chopped it right in half and just dropped the first half in the opening and the last bit at the end. And everything else I saw about it, I just skipped past.
Yeah, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah. Alrighty, and just a heads up here, I'm only talking about the main story. Just the main story. Well, for me, most skippable story is actually going to Remnant 2.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I did not care about anything story related in that. Like, most of the cutscenes I would just skip past. Yeah. It was more just with the gameplay with that game. That's what really counted. Pretty much like most Souls type games. And now to Kieran.
Well, you know what, maybe I did hear that, what is it? The Gollum game is really terrible, so I'll go with that.
Yeah, that works.
From what I've seen, yeah, it's not great, and I can't imagine the story's much better than what I've seen.
Now, worst character of the year. Starting with Beezy.
Oh, man. There are 2 characters that I absolutely hated in video games this year. I'd probably give it to Nimbus from Destiny 2, who's just, I don't even know how to describe it. An actual just fetish bondage warrior that's very, very annoying, not cool, not likable, not even funny. And he's a huge part of, they are a huge part of the fucking story of Destiny 2, and it's just, that character was just not for me. There is a character in Final Fantasy 16, his name is Goots, and he's just this big dummy. But he's not lovable, so he's also really annoying, but I give it to Nimbus.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't play that, but I did see most of the cutscenes for the game, and yeah, that character was pretty shitty.
Yeah.
A lot of their dialogue was... You could tell they were trying to be funny with it, but it just wasn't.
Yeah, it just didn't work.
Yeah. Aside from that, I can't really think of any other really bad characters from this year. Maybe, yeah, okay, I can. I'd go with Ada from Resident Evil 4 Remake. I don't know what happened with that remake, but yeah, that character was really boring in the remake. It didn't really sound like they were putting in that much effort, too, so... On to Kieran.
Yeah, I'm just probably gonna have to go with my last choice. Say, Golem / Smeagol from from what I've seen of the game, it's just not. I mean, not that he's like supposed to be a super likable character, but it definitely does not paint him in a light that just kind of sullies the character.
Yeah, I saw trailers of the game and
Yeah,
it didn't look that good.
no, kind of ruins
I've heard nothing but.
He's not a good person, but he's an interesting character, and the game just kind of ruins that.
Yeah, in the movies he was likable anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cringiest line from a game this year. Starting with Beezy.
Oh, geez, you're going to give me time to think about that. Cringiest line? I don't know.
Anything that stood out is just.
I don't keep cringe in my head, man. I try to move on from cringe. What is yours, huh?
We're doing this alphabetical, so you're first.
I would skip. I literally don't have any moment or any line that particularly stuck out to me.
For me, I'd actually go with one of the lines Saga said in Alan Wake 2, which really just kind of came out of nowhere and brought race into a game where it wasn't mentioned before, and said something about like being tired of all these white assholes holding her back, and 5 seconds later you're getting a whole bunch of stuff about like, oh yeah, I got a whole bunch of awards and everyone appreciates me, so that didn't really fit in that game. Other cringy lines would definitely be anything Ada said in Resident Evil 4 Remake. And on to Kieran.
I'm probably gonna have to say the same thing. I don't really keep cringe in my head, so I can't really say what's the worst line, to be honest.
Anything stand out as bad in any way in Baldur's Gate?
No, honestly, no.
Peak writing from start to finish?
It's pretty good. Like, I don't know, like everyone's written well, and the characters who are bad are meant to be, and I don't know. I can't really think of, and like lines. I feel like there's some lines that are maybe not meant to be comedic, but they kind of still land in a way that's sort of funny. Or there's lines that are definitely supposed to have a kind of comedic twist that definitely do hit. I really enjoyed the writing, and it did. I was trying to think. I was like, was there anything in Baldur's Gate that was like bad? I honestly can't think of anything.
What about Lord of the Rings? Or Gollum?
Sure, we could say that. I mean, I haven't played it very much, or like really, I've seen gameplay of it. Well, I'm sure there's probably some bad dialogue in there.
Oh yeah, that reminds me for that. I saw some footage of Walking Dead Destinies.
Oh god, that came out this year. I forgot.
Yeah. I think everyone tried to forget about that. And now, here's a category Easy might like. Top fuck up from a studio this year.
Oh man, there's two. I'm gonna obviously give it to Bungie just because of how important Destiny 2 has been to my life. They basically killed every single little bit of goodwill hype. They've continued to make very bad moves, very greedy, dishonest moves, losing and firing half their staff, which affects the game, the bug, the QA. They've just driven the vast majority of their player base away. So after getting bought out by Sony, people wanted to give the benefit of the doubt to Bungie again, which I don't feel like they deserved. But it's starting to come out that they're missing their margins. They're being very poorly managed, and it's kind of about time that they reap what they sow. And it sucks to say because the final year of Destiny 2 is about to come out, and I have zero interest to go back and to waste my time with that. So I think if Bungie survives over the next 2 years, it'll be interesting to see what they look like and if they're not fully overtaken by Sony. But you could even give this award to Sony for buying Bungie without knowing what the fuck's going on, because they invested so much money to retain staff. They end up firing everybody. This game straight up impacted The Last of Us Online not coming out. They bought Bungie to get Bungie's expert advice into how to do the live services, and they have now canceled half of the live services games that they were going to do. So I think Bungie deserves all the blame. And again, you reap what you sow. Sucks to see, but Bungie for sure is the biggest fuck up of the year. With the close runner-up being Game Mill. Game Mill are the ones that did Kong, Skull Island.
Oh yeah.
Gollum. And
And The Walking Dead.
And the Walking Dead game.
Yep.
They are on an incredible roll. Legendary.
Yeah, I forgot all of those were from the same publisher.
Yes, Game Mill.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, the two worst things from this year were definitely Beyond Light and Destiny 2, because of everything Beezy said, and well, I gave up on the game before that came out, but it definitely does not look like it's improved any. Second one up would be the Diablo 4 nerf patch they did, where they pretty much nerfed all XP gains, all cooldown times from gear, nerfed a lot of the damage you do, and nerfed fun right out of the game. They've improved it a lot since then, but yeah, that patch kind of killed the game for a lot of the people who played it. Now to cure it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Did the Overwatch thing happen this year?
Overwatch 2, I do believe came out this year. Yeah.
I think it came out at the end of last year, but I think like their whole screw up happened this year, did it not?
Which one?
Feels like it did.
Like, well, I can't remember the specifics exactly, but they were like essentially changing the game in some ways, I think, and then a lot of people hated it, and so they went back, which was essentially they just changed it back to Overwatch 1 after shutting down all of the Overwatch 1 servers.
Well, they shut down Overwatch 1. They put out this game which has gross microtransactions.
Right.
It's essentially the same game, except it's 4v4 instead of 5, or sorry, it's 5v5 instead of 6v6. They promised they're going to do single player content, then they cut the single player content to focus on the multiplayer. One of the characters got immediately taken away and then put back into the game like months later. There was a level that featured a giant gorilla inflatable and had some real nice jiggle physics. And they nerfed that. They've just done a lot to that. I don't know. Overwatch 2 I tried to play it and tried to give it a fair shot, and was just not down with anything.
Yeah, I'm not an Overwatch player, but I have a lot of friends who are, and from what I heard, it was a pretty big so.
Yeah, with Overwatch 2, they got Willie to drop the game. That was probably one of their number one fans. He had the game on both PlayStation and Xbox. And now for just worst game of the year, starting with BC.
Sorry, what?
Worst game, just overall worst game of the year.
I gotta give it to that King Kong game. That game looks fucking nuts. I can't even believe that it's like a console game. It looks like it's just a mobile trash fire.
And yeah, for me, I would have gone with that, or the Walking Dead Destinies, or the Gollum game. But there was one thing that came out way more recently. Was it the day before or whatever?
Yeah.
I hear that didn't go over too well.
Well, they lied. I mean, the game that they promised and they showed off, it was literally nothing. Even all the footage that they had of it before, it was not even in the game.
Assets cut from like the Division trailers.
And then they took all their money, they deleted their social medias, and then they just fucking pieced out and closed the game.
Yeah.
It's got to be one of the biggest cases of fraud. Well, it's got to be the biggest case of fraud ever in the video game industry.
Didn't they say also like, oh yeah, don't accuse us of stealing assets, and then every asset was pretty much stolen? Or something like that?
I'm not too sure on that one.
But I heard something like that. But yeah. Now that studio's gone, and the game is delisted now too, so yeah, that was a pretty bad mess up this year. And over to Kieran.
Yeah, I was originally going to say Gollum, but I think I'm going to have to change my answer to that one.
Yeah.
It happened so fast that I kind of forgot it happened, but yeah. Because I no sooner heard it came out than all that shit started getting announced. Yeah. Pretty big fuck up.
Anyway, thank you all for watching. Did you agree with any of our picks? Comment down below what you would put in these categories that we put together. Be sure to like and subscribe if you liked any of our opinions. I'll put a list of all the categories we made in the description below, and a link to Kieran's channel too. And again, thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great day.